Mixtures and solutions. Concept 2. Concentration. The first essential question is, how can you determine if a clear liquid is a solution or plain water?
In order to determine whether a clear liquid is a solution, one thing you can do is evaporate it. This is a clear liquid. I'm not sure if it is just water or if it's a solution. So I'm going to pour it into this evaporation dish. After I let the evaporation dish sit for a few days, I'll know whether it's a solution or not. Because if it's just water, the water is all going to evaporate away and I'm going to have an empty evaporation dish. However, at the end of that time, if I see crystals in the dish, that means that the water evaporated and left these crystals behind. Those crystals are the other material that was mixed into the solution. In order to determine whether a clear liquid is a solution, you evaporate it. If there are crystals, you know it was a solution because the water was mixed in with something that had dissolved. If the evaporation dish is empty, you know that all the water evaporated away and there was no solution. Another way to determine if a clear liquid is a solution is to compare equal volumes. If we compare equal volumes of a clear liquid with water, we can compare their concentrations to see if this clear liquid is a solution or to see if it's just water. In order to do that, we use our syringe and take 50 milliliters of the clear liquid and put it on one side of the balance. Then we take 50 milliliters of the water and put it on the other side of the balance. It is very important that you always use equal volumes to compare the two liquids. If I put 50 milliliters of each on the sides of the balance and the clear liquid is heavier, if it has more mass, that means that there is something that has dissolved into the water. If it weighs more, it is more concentrated, and there's another material that has dissolved, making it a solution. If both sides are equal, that means that the clear liquid has the same mass as the water. That means it has the same concentration of the water, which means that nothing has dissolved into the water. It is just water on both sides because you've compared equal volumes and they have the same concentration.
The second essential question is, if you have two different solutions, how can you determine which one is more concentrated?
If you want to compare concentrations of solutions that have a color, you can look to see which solution is darker and which one is lighter. The darker solution has more of the material that has dissolved into the water. That means that it is more concentrated. The lighter solution has less of the material that has dissolved into the water, meaning it is less concentrated. If it's darker, it is more concentrated. If it's lighter, it is less concentrated or dilute.
The third essential question is, as materials are added to a solution, how does the concentration change?
In order to answer the question, first we need to make a solution. Here we have plain water. Now we need something that will dissolve in the water to make the solution. I'm going to use salt because salt is soluble in water. Soluble means that it is able to dissolve. I'm going to add 1 scoop of salt at a time. When I add the scoop of salt to the water, I then need to mix it up. In this vial, I'm able to shake it to mix it. So I'm going to mix the water and salt together. As I'm doing that, the salt is dissolving into the water and it is making it more concentrated. you can see that most of the salt has dissolved into the water. Now I'm going to add more salt. I can see that there's still room for the salt to dissolve into the water, so I'm going to add more salt, and again I'm going to mix it so that the salt will dissolve in the water. As I add this salt, again the concentration is still increasing. I can continue to add salt to this water and the concentration will continue to increase.
When a material is first added to a solution, there's only a small amount, so the concentration is dilute. When more of the material is added, it is a larger amount, and we say it has become more concentrated. This concept is concentration. You should know the answer to the following questions. How can you determine if a clear liquid is a solution or plain water? If you have two solutions, how can you determine which one is more concentrated? As materials are added to a solution, how does the concentration change? This concept is concentration. You should know the answer to the following questions. How can you determine if a clear liquid is a solution or plain water? If you have two solutions, how can you determine which one is more concentrated? As materials are added to a solution, how does the concentration change?